It was on a Monday, in another world. In an indoor world, only a few weeks into the global lockdown of 2020, when a young hummingbird flew into my apartment to warm itself over the bulb I had hanging in my bedroom window. I was at my desk less than 10 feet away, but it had rained the night before, and this one was too young or too cold to be afraid, even ignoring its mom, who'd also flown in to tell it to scoot. This was enough motivation to order a feeder, and within a week I'd received this little red number that suctioned to my 4th-story window. The birds came immediately. It didn't take long to discover that for the very small price of leaving my iPhone taped to the glass window on the slow motion setting for however long I could spare it, I could become the recipient of what often felt like video gold. I became preoccupied with the fact that I, as a non-scientist, with what was now everyday equipment, was awarded previously inaccessible proximity with these unreal creatures that had lived beside me, up in the air, all along, only at a faster speed. Juice was a male Anna's hummingbird with a missing feather in his left wing. His bright magenta hood activated by just the right angle of the light. Getting that light just right was essential to catching the variety of iridescence on hand each day. But it was Juice who had claimed the window, and it was his astonishing revelations of smoldering fuchsia ore that I was mining for most. Increasingly, my invitations to Juice and the others became more elaborate. Experimenting with all the ways I could attract and entertain them, to honor them and thank them for everything they brought me in my tower. I'd moved to California a few years earlier for the sun. After decades in the lush but gray Pacific Northwest, it was part of my strategy to combat a severe midlife depression. My current bedroom window faced west and straight into its blaze for the second half of the day. My solution for the first half of the day was to make the previously unused front balcony off of the shared living room and kitchen as green and comfortable as possible. "50 feet off the ground on a street lined with enormous ponderosas, it faced south and almost always got some sun. When everything else fades, the sun still feels good on the skin. And people are generally happy in places where flowers are happy. And where there are flowers, at least in the Americas, there are hummers, feasting on light's nectar. So, by many turns of grace, a lot of sugar, and a lot of light, I had recently discovered my feet again, with this solid place to live and a local millennial roommate who already felt like family. Our own colors activated into more complicated shades of South Asian and Western European, as Black Lives Matter brought the empty city around us out of hiding and back into the light. Before COVID, it was common for the skies of Hollywood to reverberate with the pulse of helicopters, and I'd not taken for granted the rarity of a nearly motorless spring in the middle of Los Angeles. But the sudden contrast aligned with the sudden quieting of the hummingbirds, reiterating as 2020 progressed that I'd found my feet only just in time to lose the ground beneath them. So, while the metal birds swelled back to life at twice the intensity, the activity at my window died down dramatically, and the endings at my door took center stage. Endings like the life of the therapist and father figure who had pulled me through my original despair with his love and tappers, and who was taken by the first of his 2 strokes only a week into lockdown. Endings like a long in the making love with the first man I'd felt like myself around. A gold ring in my pocket I had yet to introduce, as he extinguished me from his life in a single sobering gesture with never another word. And endings like the absence of the person I wanted to rely on most, hundreds of miles away, courting opioids oblivion, until it finally came to her home for the partner who wasn't as lucky as her. I wouldn't know it for sure yet, but Juice would never return. To establish trust with an animal, especially a wild animal, is truly something. More than a gift, it's actual income, because you worked for it. Soon enough, the hummers returned, but without a landlord, it was a bit of a free-for-all. Until a new claimant took ownership of the window. One who was even more aggressive and vigilant about making the fact known. A rusty Allen's hummingbird I called Camper, who boasted a flashy orange throat gorget, and who wasn't above spending full days at the feeder or right next to it. Even coming inside on the hottest days, spending hours on end, camped at the feeder I placed just a few feet inside my room. So, little camper is camping out. And I also happen to be reviewing some footage I took of him yesterday. And the funny thing is, whenever I play his song, his morning song, back to him, he always responds in real time in the same way. See? I'll play this. Hear that? He just responded. Do it again. Okay. This is the recording. There he is. Oh, look, he flew in. Hey, buddy. What's that sound? Do you hear your own voice? Someone challenging you? You challenging you? After hearing them throughout the day, it's not uncommon that in my room at night I have auditory hallucinations of hummingbird wings, or sounds, chirps, barks. I kind of call them barks. Sounds like electricity. So I often think I hear the chirps, hum of the wings. But the other night I looked out my window and I really did. So first it was at 9:30 at night. The sun had been down for almost 3 hours. And it was Camper, the male Allens that's always camping out at my window. He came, he hung out and drank for a little while. And then again, 12:30. That gave me like chills when it happened. It wouldn't have weirded anyone else out, probably, but I told my roommate about it the next day, and he was like, weird. And I was like, yeah, really weird. So that was Camper, who I was just talking about. Most hummingbirds' feet never touch the ground. They can't even walk beyond a shuffle or a hop on a branch. Losing everything solid, I was also living in the air. In that first year of the pandemic, when everything truly seemed to be falling apart everywhere I looked, the regularity of these visits was just enough to offer me a place to land. Witnessing and being witnessed in a uniquely urban sort of interspecies trade of wealth. With the felt sense along the way that light is attention, and attention is love, and all of it is food. As the outside world distilled itself to what could be framed by a window and a balcony, I understood more deeply and more gratefully that it's possible to be of this earth without ever touching it, and that everything comes to life by way of the light.